I work with Dee at Woodward, and some of my customers, I'm in the sales group, some of my customers are actually sitting out in the audience here. So when I had an opportunity to talk to my leadership and say, hey, look, I got this innovation challenge. My name's Jason Pulabiak, by the way, if you can't read. And so one of the things that I had as a challenge was, how do I meet the objectives of the class, but yet not give away all of the information that might be quantifiable with my customers sitting here. So one of the things that I took was, an MBA, you're looking at making some big cultural changes. And so I structured my innovation change around that cultural change. And as Dee said, one of the things that Woodward does right now is aerospace and industrial energy production. So we work in a facility that does energy production, so turbine engine parts and components. You can see the relative, sell to GE specifically, and some of the other customers, but they have a wealth of benefits packages for the individuals. Within Woodward, it's unique because we don't call each other employees, we're members of the team, members of Woodward. So when you see member benefits, it's actually employee benefits. One of the things that we do as a company is provide a bonus program based on company profits and our performance. And some of the things that I saw, current situation is, and we talked about that cultural change, is that if a bonus is based on company performance, when you tie that back down to an individual contributor, understanding how that individual's performance relates to the company performance, and when you get a bonus, you kind of need to tie that together a little bit. So one of the innovative cultural changes that I proposed to my site leadership was helping increase that awareness between that connection of an annual bonus and the company profits, and then giving them a tool to say, how can I basically make my performance reflect in the company's profits? So the next specific change is, there's a couple different plans. There's a communication plan, in which case just educating the members on what is an OEBB, operating earnings before bonus. How is that calculated? Where do we stand in relationship to a progress of that target on an annual basis? And really try to tie that individual contribution to the company's performance. And the way that plan to do that is actually create this scrap correction tool. And that goes down to cost of goods sold. Right? So essentially, if you're on a manufacturing floor and you have an issue with a product and it causes a scrap, so there's dollars associated with that. This tool basically will help folks understand how many more parts they need to then manufacture to make up for the cost of that scrap. Okay, so without going into details, if you threw out something out there and say, okay, it's $50,000 scrap, this tool will basically say you're going to need to build so many of this product in order to make up the value of that. So if you think about it from a supervisor standpoint, when you're standing there and you have to potentially either reward somebody for, hey, you saved this much in scrap, or, your maybe lack of attention to detail or oversight caused this much scrap, you realize you're going to now have to make this many just to get back to where you were before, right? So this is a tool that kind of helps calculate that and be able to provide, some of that supervisor, the ability to articulate the individual contributor on the bottom line. Some of the short term, you look at how does that help, really? So from a cultural awareness, when you start seeing my impact on a bonus and where we stand in relationship to the target at the end of the year, you could say, hey, I'm getting closer to being able to realize my bonus, or hey, I'm further away, I need to change something, right? And then from a long-term standpoint, it all goes back to how we can help our customers win. And if we're reducing our scrap, that means we're not having to make over more parts as many times. So when we commit to saying, hey, I'm going to deliver this to you on Friday, that means it's actually going to get there on Friday. It's not, Thursday I had to scrap it and remake it, so now it's not coming out to you until Wednesday. So some of the long-term effects would be, reduction in scrap, and then turnaround time for, on-time deliveries and things like that. My leadership has embraced this. They're actually looking forward to it. They don't see it as a one-year thing. They think it's definitely going to be more of a cultural shift to say, let's change the mindset a little bit and empower employees or empower members to really take ownership of where we stand as a company of performance. So that's my innovative change. And